jumper, heavy black boots, and a bored expression. "Anna, I need you to run back to the workshop and get my flensing tool," said Ellie. "What's a flensing tool?" said Anna, yawning. "It's a sharp blade on the end of a long pole," said Ellie. "It's in the loft, beside the bookcases, hanging below a telescope and a rifle." "You have a rifle," said Anna, leaning forward, suddenly interested. "And bullets." "Just hurry, all right?" said Ellie, and Anna rolled her eyes and slouched off up the street. Ellie hopped on the seawall, then dropped down the other side. The crowd gasped as she landed on the roof of the chapel 10 feet below. "What is she doing?" said a woman. Ellie held out her hands to steady herself, stepping along the rooftop like a tightrope walker. The whale's eyes were closed, eyelids wrinkled and creased, like those of an old man. She knelt, drawing one hand delicately along the whale's side. Its skin was hard, covered in white barnacles and crisscrosses of scar tissue. "What's going on here?" said a voice above. Ellie glanced up and saw a young city guardsman nudging his way through the crowd, gawky and big-eared, dressed in a black cap and dark blue greatcoat. "There's a whale on the roof," said a woman. "That girl's gone down to it," said another. "What?" the guardsman said, and he looked down and noticed Ellie on the roof. What is she doing?" He clapped his hands to his head. "Watch out, miss. That whale will eat you." "Whales don't eat people," Ellie sighed. But no one heard. They were all talking over each other now. The whale's massive body rose and fell beneath her hand as it drew a ragged breath. It was still alive. Ellie looked around, wondering if it was possible to get the whale back in the water. A ship might have been able to pull it free when the tide came back in, but that was hours away. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I wish I could help." As she spoke, Ellie thought she heard something faint coming from inside the whale. The clamour of the crowd made it impossible to be sure. "Get away from it!" the guardsman yelled, though he seemed too afraid to climb down to the roof himself. "I think you should drag her off." "Someone call the Inquisition." "Please, I am trying to listen," said Ellie. "The preacher said the whales could breathe fire." "Please," Ellie yelled, but no one paid her any attention. She pulled a marble-sized device from her pocket, wrapped in yellow paper, and with a flick of her wrist, she hurled it up at the sea wall. There was a crack and a flash of light, and a riot of frenzied screeching as the seagulls fled. The crowd staggered back and shielded their eyes, shocked into silence. Ellie held up her hand. "Listen," she said. And so they all did. And in the silence, they could hear it, drifting towards them. It was the whale. The whale was singing. It was a mournful, melodious rise and fall, reverberating from deep within the creature. Ellie had heard whales sing before, but never one out of water. She had thought it was part of some mating ritual. Yet here was this dying whale singing, for whose benefit she could not guess. They all listened in awe for many long minutes. Then the whale opened its eye. "Incredible," Ellie whispered. The eye was the dark blue of a cold sea. It focused on her. She could have sworn it. And all she knew was its gaze and that song. And for those few wondrous moments, all the pain inside her seemed to go away. The song grew quieter, as if it were drifting off to the horizon. The eye closed, the tail stopped moving, and all was silent, even the sea. "I've got it!" yelled Anna triumphantly, pushing her way to the seawall, holding the flensing tool over her head. The crowd turned to